I'll assume, of course, you know about Korzybski, but if you don't know about Warren Buffett, just very briefly, he's the 89-year-old chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, which is a holding company with numerous investments, including Coca-Cola and American Express and Geico. And he's widely regarded as maybe the greatest investor of all time. If you had put $10,000 with Berkshire Hathaway in 1965 when he took control of it, you'd have over $240 million today. So over 50 years, that's compounded at 20.5% annually. It's more than double the return of the S&P 500. As for Korzybski and Buffett, I'll start with just some personal stuff and then get into some of their ideas. So there's really no direct link between them. So far as I know, Buffett has never heard of Korzybski. And I did a Google search, and it revealed only 16 links in which both of their names appear, which I think is an all-time low for me for doing a search. But that doesn't mean there aren't some interesting parallels. So both were born in the families of some prominence. Korzybski, of course, was born into a noble family in 1879 in Poland, and Buffett was the son of a congressman born in 1930 in Omaha, Nebraska. Both did not pursue the family business, and they were outsiders. They pursued their ideas outside of those mainstream institutions. Korzybski, of course, with his institute, and Buffett first with the Buffett Partnership, and then later with Berkshire Hathaway. One big difference between them is Korzybski always struggled with money to keep his institute afloat, and Buffett never had any problems with money. As for personalities, they both seem to have an impish sense of humor. So I'm thinking of Korzybski with his, there's a story about him feeding his students dog biscuits and not telling them that they were dog biscuits, and there's that bad joke he tells about the Nazis in the train. If you don't know, I can tell it later. As Korzybski says, many of our human troubles are only artificial verbal bubbles, and when they are pricked, they burst, so there is nothing left but to research of academics, and he puts the term in quotes, which reported that over years, the higher interest rate received from low-grade bonds more than compensated for their higher rates of default. Thus, a diversified portfolio of junk bonds would produce greater net returns than a portfolio of high-grade bonds. And Buffett warns, beware of past performance proofs, and again, he puts it in quotes. If history books were the key to riches, the Forbes 400 would consist of librarians. That's a famous line of his. So I think both Buffett and Korzybski show great sensitivity towards linguistic clarity and on how words influence how we think. So Buffett, for example, takes issue with headline writers that treat stock market declines as bad events. So his view is that investors should rejoice when stocks decline because it allows you to purchase the shares at lower prices. So he writes, so smile when you read a headline that says investors lose as the market falls. Writers often forget the truism that there is a buyer for every seller, and what hurts one necessarily helps the other. As they say in golf matches, every putt makes someone happy. I'm going to skip down to this part here. Okay, so Korzybski and Buffett both developed tools to help us think through what's happening with greater clarity. So Korzybski's cool toolkit included, for example, the concept of putting a date on your views to prevent getting sort of categorical thinking. So you might say you liked The Princess Bride when it came out in '87, so it leaves open the possibility that your taste might change and you don't like it now. And Buffett was very good at this. There are many examples of him changing his opinion on investment ideas because he was able to resist that kind of thinking. For example, airlines for a long time were categorized as terrible businesses. Many investors would never even think about them as a serious long-term investment, and Buffett was among those who heaped scorn on the industry. So this is from his 2000 letter, and this is another famous passage now. He says, "The worst sort of business is one that grows rapidly, requires significant capital, and then earns little or no money. Think airlines. Here, a durable competitive advantage has proven elusive ever since the days of the Wright brothers. Indeed, if a far-sighted capitalist had been president at Kitty Hawk, he would have done his successors a huge favor by shooting Orville down." Then he says, and Buffett himself, Buffett lost a lot of money on airlines. He was invested in U.S. Air, which went bankrupt. And that's when he made his famous quip about, if you want to be a millionaire, you start with $1 billion and buy an airline. But the industry changed, so now airlines are profitable. They have credit card operations that contribute a lot to profits. They have control over certain routes they didn't have before, And so now he owns a bunch of airlines. And something similar happened with railroads. Railroads were also known as being very poor long-term investments. And Buffett recognized that as a date-bound opinion, and when it changed, he was able to change his opinion. So if you read Buffett's letters, there are pages and pages of this kind of this thinking, which I think really amount to a kind of neurolinguistic analysis about the use and misuse of words and how they impact how we think. And instead, he provides a different way to speak about what happens, which in the end, I think is the most important similarity between these two great thinkers. Thank you.